you just let me know when we're up and running?
Yeah, I'm Mayor Crane. I'm just going back and forth with Lisa on that addition we just discussed. So if you'd give me a minute just to confirm it.
We are recording.
Okay, thank you, Mary Ellen. All right. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors, guests, if we have any. I see we got some staff in here. I would just like to start our meeting here at, and forgive me for looking away, I've got my other screen over here on the side. Opener Wednesday, February 16th, 2022 meeting at 6:30 on the nose. So thank you. The town of Turner Valley would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7, including the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, Kainai, and Kainai First Nations, the Stoney Nakoda of Bearspaw, the Chiniki and Wesley bands, and the Bearspaw, and the Dene Tsuut'ina First Nations, and the people of the Métis Region 3. And with that, we will move to our approval of agenda. I have requested from Mr. Patience an addition to our agenda, an in-camera session at the very end to go over intergovernmental relations, and that would be section 27, and we're just going to get that confirmed from Sean or Lisa. Sean, I'll let you lead that off.
I'm just trying to do that right now, Mayor Crane.
Mayor Crane, just to clarify, if you're looking for a FOIP section for intergovernmental relations, it's section 21.
21. Thank you.
Okay, so duly noted, section 21, or an in-camera at the end of our meeting. All right. And with that, can I get an approval of the agenda, please? Councillor Rabb is quick on the draw this evening. Thank you, sir. All in favor? Hands high for the camera. Thank you. Perfect, and that's carried. Adoption of previous minutes, 4.1. Meeting of February 2nd, 2022. Can I get a motion for that? Councillor Dixon is up, and Councillor Dixon, is there anything to note from said minutes?
Not that I noticed this time around, no.
All right, you are now our official note checker. Just so you know, you and Hazel are
Very good.
now the thorough minute keepers.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So Councillor Dixon gives us a motion and says we're all good. So all in favor for that. And that is carried. Thank you. The 4.2 adoption of council committee of the whole meeting minutes for February 8th, 2022. Can I get a motion for that one, please? Committee of the whole, Deputy Mayor Holiday gives us a motion for that. Anything to note, Councillor Holiday? All right, thank you. Council, any comments? Seeing none, hands high, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Question period 5.1 is the section of time where we have council open to the public for any questions or concerns you can address to council or administration. You can email, text, phone, dial in. We don't care how you do it, but we will answer any question you have. Mr. Patience, have you received any questions in this last couple of weeks?
No, Mr. Mayor, I have not.
All right, seeing none, we will move on from 5.1 to statutory hearings, which we have none, and delegations, we also have none. Reports, CAO report 8.1. Mr. Patience, you have the floor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, I've got multiple things going at the same time here. So yeah, I have a very brief report today that certainly is no way indicative of the workload that we've been carrying in the office, but just some quick updates. We've restarted all our staff meetings, looking forward to getting back to in-person meetings and some team building. We've appointed new members to our Health and Safety Committee, and they actually have their first meeting tomorrow morning. We're actually working on first aid training and updating first aid training for all of our staff as we speak. We are fielding numerous calls from developers interested in building and developing properties within Turner Valley, which I think is a very positive situation. The outdoor rink, as I had reported, is closed. It was due to the warm weather, although today I don't think that's indicative of it, but yes, it is closed. Obviously, we did a lot of work for the MPC meeting this morning, which went very well. Thank you to all of those that were involved. Our development officer is back as of Monday on limited duty and working her way back into the process. And you wouldn't find a happier CAO to be able to attest to that than myself. We are continuing to work on the diverse housing strategy as implied by council, and thanking Monique for her efforts on that regard. And Bridget has done an exceptional job in managing development applications as we move forward. Also, maybe a quick update on very hot off the press from the working group on the curbside recycling and organics. We're looking at March to do an insertion into utility billings to introduce the concept to the residents. We're continuing to work on the bylaw. It has been drafted. We're just working on review and revision as we speak. That will be completed for March. We hope to have it approved in March by the first meeting in April at the latest. We'll be doing a short presentation to JFAC on March 9th in that regard. Looking at April for residential cart deliveries in Black Diamond and Turner Valley. April, May for continuing education on the three-stream approach. April, May for migration of data into our accounting systems. And we're now looking at the 1st of June for an implementation. We will keep you abreast as that program progresses and any changes to it. There are a lot of moving parts to this, as you all well know, but needless to say, it's well in process, and our residents will be seeing something very soon in that regard. That's really all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Waring, please, and then Councillor Dixon.
With respect to the safety committee, when I joined council, and Crane will bear me out with this one, a representative of council used to meet with the safety committee.
Correct.
This was brought up with the previous CAO, but because there was no safety committee, we obviously didn't attend. So I'm just wondering what the idea is now, whether we're going to have a council member at those meetings.
Yes, we are, in fact. So it was discussed at our last meeting to get a councillor involved, and it was actually suggested that perhaps Councillor Martin would like to be that council representative, since she was a staff representative on the safety committee previously.
Good idea.
Yep, that sounds like a great idea.
You're muted, Councillor Martin.
Do we need to give a motion for that, or is that just automatic?
We will at some point. I think we can let her make that one. We'll go to Dixon first, get some comments out of the way, and then we can circle back to that.
Yeah, just a quick question in regards to the first aid training. Any chance that will be available for members of council?
We haven't discussed that, Councillor Dixon. The concern is really meeting our requirements through our core certification, which I'm not sure that councillor first aid training is a requirement of that, but I'm happy to look into it.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of those things, Curtis, I actually brought up 8 years ago as well. We should at least have someone on council who's, trained and certified and IED ready to go, right? So,
I need updating more than anything. I already have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Hazel Waring wants to make a motion for you if required. Did you have a comment?
You're
Still
muted,
Hazel. I can't, she says. Well, that's strange. did you want to use the text window if you had something really important, or I would suggest signing out and signing back in and give that a try. Let me just check over here on the agenda. Yeah, we're just going to be going through. We're really going to want your comments as we go into the minister's letter anyway. So if you want to sign out now and try and sign back in, we'll just take a quick 2 minutes and just have a little chat. So we'll let you sign out. Wearing.
Yeah, I can make I'll make the motion that council appoints Councillor Hazel Martin to the Work Safety Committee.
Thank you. Councillor Holiday.
Yeah, just a different topic. I was wondering when we would be looking forward to in-person meetings for council as well.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
This is our last Zoom, so far as I'm concerned. So.
Yeah, it does look like as of March 1st, a number of the restrictions will be dropped. I actually was reviewing the government regulations today, which were a little more than convoluted. I will be speaking to Jerry. I do believe probably our next council meeting will be in person if council desires.
Holiday?
Did we need a motion on that? Yeah, because
we'll take yours after we vote on wearings.
Sounds good.
But now we didn't put it in the agenda for a specific area, but we are definitely going to make that motion because it has to be done via motion. I'm just trying to look on the agenda here for a spot where we could slide that in.
You could do it now because it comes out of the CAO's report.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, right on. So we'll do
I
it.
haven't used.
We'll do it back to back. Okay. So we're just waiting for Hazel. It's strange that her volume would shoot off. She joined the meeting at 6 o'clock, and her and Mary Ellen were chatting up for a good half hour.
Yeah, we had this on Monday in that hearing of the tribunal.
Yeah.
So one of the people in that meeting kept losing their. They kept getting muted. And it was really weird because it wasn't anything they were doing. It's just a glitch.
And where is Mary Ellen? Mary Ellen, can you confirm that you're looking to put Hazel back in the meeting? She's not waiting in the Netherlands?
No, she hasn't come into the waiting room at all. So I might be able to just fire off a quick text and find out if she's having trouble kind of logging back in.
Yeah, for sure. Just send her. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Sean, on the CAO's report, the rink is shut down.
Yes.
And it looks like we're going to have some pretty hefty weather here again, warm weather for another week. So probably not going to see that back to life this year.
Yeah, that's likely, Mayor Crane. It really does depend. We're in southern Alberta, so it does become a problem. Thankfully, it's, I think, earlier than normal. But I don't know. My sentiment is I'm happy to see spring whenever it would like to raise its head. So
Yeah. Councillor Rabb?
Yeah, actually, they're forecasting some pretty cold weather this weekend.
Oh,
like 15 below, stuff like that.
Ooh.
So we'll have the ice back in, Sean.
I know our Lions rink is it shrunk a fine bit, but it's still okay. So
Yep.
If anything, I think the warm weather gave it a nice clean finish. And yeah, you're right. We've got 4 days. Oh, early next week is really cold at night. 24, 22, and 25 below.
Wow. So we'll monitor that. Obviously, if we're looking at a long-term cold spell, I'll be speaking with Craig. It is
isn't next week family week, so their kids are off school.
It is,
Correct.
yep.
So it'd be nice if we could have it, if that's possible.
Mhm.
I'll definitely check with them. It's not just a quick, obviously, fill it up and do it. And I know we've had melting in the afternoon still as of today even, but so I will speak with Craig. There is Hazel on her way back.
And still dead silent, Hazel. That's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating. Well, I guess we're going to ask you to comment in the comment window for now. And I'm not sure if Lisa.
No, I think the chat function's been disabled, Mr. Mayor.
Hazel, if you want to call me, I can put you on speaker.
Good idea.
Yeah, we'll just have to do it that way.
It's a dumb question to ask if your mic is muted, probably, but
It doesn't even show a mic on her icon.
no, it doesn't actually. That is very strange.
Yeah, and I just checked her settings on this side. It shows that her mic is active. So I think there's something going on with her own computer mic.
Okay. All right, well, we'll proceed. So Hazel, when you do want to talk, you can phone Councillor Dixon or you can phone myself and I'll put you on speaker and we'll listen to you through here. Wow. There you go. That's the best we're going to be able to do for now. So, okay, so we have a motion on the floor, Hazel. Councillor Waring made a motion to appoint you to the, what is it, the Safety?
Workplace Health and Safety Committee.
Thank you. And you would be fine taking that over. Excellent. Thumbs up. Good. All right. That being said, no further comments, questions? All in favor of that motion? Hands high. Good. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. And Deputy Mayor Holliday, you have a motion for us as well coming out of the CAO's report. Could give us that.
Yeah, motion to resume in-person meetings effective immediately or March 1st? What? Sean, I'll look to you on that one.
I would just suggest at our next regular council meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Dixon.
I have Hazel on the phone here.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Councillor Dixon.
Perfect. Councillor Waring, comment?
Yes. We have committee meetings as well, so there could be a few committee meetings between now and the 1st of March. So I don't know if you want to make it from today's date.
I believe most of the restrictions will fall on March 1st. And I think our council meeting is March 2nd, if I recall correctly. So
yeah, but even under the current restrictions, you could have committee meetings in chambers if you wanted to.
I will leave that to council's discretion.
All right, thank you. Cindy, we're good?
I would just say effective March 1st. I don't have any meetings personally, but I guess if there's something that Councillor Waring has, I'm open to discussion, but March 1st just seems easy, aligns with the province.
No, it's just that we have our meetings in Black Diamond, you know, so we go into chambers there. It seems silly we're not doing it here, but that's fine.
Are you talking about for West End?
Yeah, West End, and also we had a meeting of IEDC in Black Diamond Chambers.
All right, well, we'll say effective immediately then. I'm happy to make that friendly amendment.
I don't know if we have got any more meetings before the end of the month, but look, well, I'm good with the 1st of.
Okay. Keep it March 1st. All right. Motion to go back to in-person meetings starting March 1st. Going once, going twice, Councillor Dixon, and Martin, and Rad, and Waring. Are we voting or are you guys wanting to talk?
There is no meeting March 1st, is there? It's March 2nd, our next meeting.
Yeah, but we're gonna We're just saying that starting in March, we're going back to in-person meetings.
But there's
Okay.
there's a PrAC meeting on the 25th.
There you go.
Right.
Thanks.
Would you like to start on the 25th? Because I believe Deputy Mayor is good to make that amendment.
Yeah, I'm happy effective immediately. Like all my county meetings are still online, but if Turner Valley's okay with it, we can do effective immediately.
I'm fine with effective immediate. Okay, all right, now I'll ask for comments. So we're going effective immediate, back to in-person meetings for council, and any committees that are still available for in-person, you can go for it. But if it's something like the county, obviously, and they're doing Zoom, then you do Zoom. This is for Turner Valley Council. Any comments before I call the vote? All in favor? And that is carried, thank you. All right, moving on. Can I get a motion to just accept the CAO's report as presented? Councillor Gordon gives me that. All in favor? Thank you. Miss Brown and Miss Beck, I have a message that says the video link is disconnected. I don't know, I can't catch that obviously, but maybe you guys could check that and see how that is online. Scrolling down.
I can, Mayor Crane. Hazel, I see that your audio setting is now on your screen. Perhaps your audio is working again. Do you want to see if you can unmute? Still nothing, eh? Okay, I've still got you on the phone, so it's all good.
All right. I'm just scrolling here. All right, next on the agenda is 8.2? Because my agenda kind of blinked on me here. 8.2,
Yes.
Minister McIver's letter for MSI.
Yes.
All right, would you like to just speak to that one quickly, Mr. Patience?
Yeah, so really this is very simple and really could be an administrative issue, but I do like to make council aware when they're changing significant grant programs like MSI. So this is just really an extension of MSI until the March 31st, 2024. So this is an agreement we're required to sign. At that point, they will be replacing MSI with a new program called the Local Government Fiscal Framework. And I'm sure some of you have heard this terminology before, and it will, I assume, likely relate in some way, shape, or form to asset management strategies. And I don't want to say that for sure, but another 2 years of MSI on extension. And as you know, that for 2022, the grants were reduced significantly. So I brought this to council's attention, A, for approval of signing the agreement, and B, just for their awareness that the program has 2 years left in its existing format.
Okay, excellent. I'll take any money that the government's going to give us. So I'm glad to hear that they're extending it. Councillor Waring?
CAO, could you refresh our memories regarding the amount of monies that will be donated to the town in 23 and 24? Will it be the same as 22?
That's a good question. I know for 2022, it was reduced from, I believe, 700,000 down to just over 300,000, if I recall correctly. Ms. Middleton might be able to bring those numbers into a little more accuracy, but.
Through the mayor, to answer your question, you are correct, CAO Patience. We are going to get about 307,000 in 2022 and the same amount in 2023.
Thank you, Ms. Middleton. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Anyone else? Ms. Martin, Councilor Martin. Dixon, you want to unmute her?
Yep, working on it. Go ahead, Hazel.
I'm sorry. Corinne, can you tell us what projects the MSI has been projected for? Which projects are they're going to use?
To answer your question through the mayor, is this Councillor Martin, is this for 2022 projects specifically?
Yes, Corinne.
I'm not sure we have a significant amount of projects in 2022. A lot will depend with respect to projects like Seclusion Valley, if we get grant funds from other sources, so we may utilize that, but otherwise, we haven't projected to use. I'm not sure if we have really anything significant for 2022.
So is this money that you can just hold on to?
For sure.
Okay. You don't have to return it. You don't have to return it if you don't use it.
No.
It's one of the
Thank you.
nicer grant funds that we received, that's for sure. All right, I'll get a motion to accept as information, and I'll sign that once I go into the office. Councillor Rab gives me that. Thank you, Councillor Rab. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. And thank you. Just want to go back to Mr. Patience, just the live streaming. If the ladies are checking on that to see if that's working or not.
Lisa and Mary Ellen are both online, so I will look to Mary Ellen to give us an update perhaps on that, Mary Crane.
That would be great. Because it could be just that residents are living in an area that doesn't have good connectivity. I don't know. But if Lisa, maybe you could enlighten us.
Absolutely, through the chair, Mr. Mayor. I'm on my personal laptop and it's there. So no, there is no live stream. We stopped doing that. When you click on the link, you open your Teams and this is how you view it. So there's no YouTube stuff until we upload the recording later on.
Okay, so but our recording is clean and clear? For sure.
Well, we can't tell you if the recording's clear or not because
So
it's
we're done.
recording as we speak.
All right, excellent. All right, thank you. Okay, moving on.
If I might, Mr. Mayor, on that, just for clarity, we're using a slightly different platform right now, so residents can view the meeting as it's going on in Teams. And then once the meeting is done and the recording is complete tomorrow, we will upload the recording. So not vastly different than we were using before. You just need to click on the meeting link on our website and it should take you to the Teams platform. And we do have a number of people joining us as we speak, so.
Yeah, I think people are figuring it out, so that's good. Okay, excellent, thank you for clarity on that. Councillor Gordon.
Yeah, just for this public, for public notification, I'm not sure how clear, if we've been clear enough to advise that we no longer live stream, that the meetings are only available to be viewed live through Teams. So we may want to clarify that a little bit. I know it's been out there, if I may, through the chair towards our administration. I know the information's out there, but I'm wondering if there's some gaps in that communication piece.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. In fact, if we go back to live meetings, we'll be shifting again likely. So this is a bit of a moving target for us at this point. We have had a great deal of success with the Teams meetings and haven't had a lot of glitches in terms of people being able to follow along. So very similar process. In fact, going to our website and just clicking on the video link. So nothing different than we have done before. It's just the YouTube upload is a little different. And we'll just be uploading the recording. So nothing really vastly different. That's why we haven't really done any communication, because simply go to our website, click the video link, follow the meeting.
So just to that point, if I may, I've just done that and it tells me that no future events are scheduled. It doesn't take me to a Teams link.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for that. So Mary Ellen, Lisa, can you explain why that is? I know we have a lot of people joining. I'm watching them in the gallery here, so.
Through the chair, Mr. Mayor and Council. I just joined on my personal laptop. You saw my LB pop up as a guest. I had absolutely no issues. All I did was go to Town of Turner Valley website, which we've advertised on our electronic signs, social media, and everything else. You click on video link, asks you to open a Teams meeting. It opens, it popped right up. Mary Ellen let me in and I had immediate access. So I'm not sure what's going on with if others are having issues or difficulties. Depending where they're calling in from, it may be their own internet connections. It might be the setup on their own device. So as you can see by, if you noticed how many participants there are, a lot of people are joining in and it doesn't appear to have a lot of difficulties.
Yeah, so just as a quick put a bow tie on this one, you're absolutely correct. If they click on today's meeting, it goes to the video link. But if they click on the live stream radio button, it goes to no future events scheduled.
Okay.
All right, I've relayed that little bit of information as best I could through Textaroo. And yeah, hopefully that cures it for this one person and anyone else who is trying can figure this out as well.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Councillor Gordon. It's nice to have sort of an objective outside perspective on this. So we'll definitely look at that. And we know we're going to have some challenges with an in-person meeting, and we'll discuss that later because we're going to go back to the old ways. So yeah, nothing better than technology when it works, and nothing worse than technology when it doesn't. So
amen to that.
We will get this worked out.
All right. Thank you. So we voted on the minister's letter, and we are moving on now to 8.3 to RCMP third quarter report to council. So in front of you, you've got a few pages here of your standard quarterly report from the RCMP. Anyone want to give me a motion to accept for information and then comment on anything that they find relevant? Councillor Waring was first up for the motion. So we'll take that for information. Is that correct, Councillor Waring?
That is correct, Mayor Crane, and having read through all these numbers, I'm completely dizzy, so I've got no further questions.
All right. Councillor Martin, did you want to comment on anything? No, you're good. All right. Councillor Gordon.
Yeah, I was going to ask Councillor Waring if he could explain those funky diagrams. The trend lines, yeah, they're pretty wild, eh? It's quite a unique way to look at trend lines. I had to have a chuckle on that one, but
yeah, but it's just straightforward graph. It's easy to make them.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funky.
Yeah, it's some form of foreign language to confuse.
It's a hieroglyphic, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, if no one has any comment or concern about the report, I like these reports. It always gives you kind of a nice little breakdown, shows you where we sit regionally, and I didn't see anything too concerning there. So I'm quite happy with the motion. Councillor Gordon?
Yeah, there was just a minor typo. They have a November 2022 date for a meeting, when I'm pretty confident means November 2021. I don't know if anybody else picked that up or not, but I was like, cool, future dating. Awesome.
Nice. Probably a little typo. We'll let them know. All right. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. The 2022 AUMA Convention in Calgary, September 21, 22, and 23.
There is no AUMA.
Oh.
There's only AMA.
That's right. It's funny how we still call it that. I'll be calling it that forever. It doesn't matter. It's ingrained in me now. So AMA, the Alberta Municipalities Association Convention, which I believe Deputy Mayor Hallday is sitting on one of the boards there. Are you not, Deputy Mayor?
Yes, I am. I'm on the Municipal Governance Committee, and I believe the short form that they want us to use is AB Munis. So not AUMA and not AM, it's AB Munis.
AB Munis. All right. So that one's up for discussion. Of course, it's kind of hard to project whether you're going to attend it now in September. The only thing that you really want to consider when you do see the AB Munis convention coming up is your training budget, and if you're going to use that money to go to that or not. I'm going to go to Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair. The reason I put this on here is I don't know what you guys do for Calgary conventions, if you book hotel rooms or if you drive daily. I'm not sure what your cost savings would be either way because you're going right downtown Calgary. A lot of people prefer to stay right in Calgary just because of all the other venues and whatnot that goes on throughout the course of that convention. So I just wanted to know if you wanted me to book you hotel rooms.
I see. I don't even know if all of us would be going at this point. We can definitely bring this one back. I think after we talk about our training budget at our strategic planning session, I think it'd be a great time to discuss this one. And then kind of get a formalized plan of where each councillor wants to exercise some education over the next year and take this into account, because it is about a $750 hit to your training budget. So it's definitely something that you want to prioritize. Is this important, or doing courses important? So let's take this one to our strategic planning session, which we're going to talk about later as well, and get some dates nailed down regarding that. So is that fine with everybody? Okay, seeing some nods. Thank you, Lisa, for bringing it forward, though. Definitely need to start getting it in the planning and the works. So, and traditionally, just so you know, it's always kind of been a split and split. When it's in Calgary, we've had half councillors stay at hotels, and we've had half councillors drive in and out. We've had carpooling in, carpooling back. So we've kind of had a Heinz 57 of every option, really, when it comes to convention. So, all right. That being said, no motions required there. Number 9 is administrative responses. None. Administrative inquiries, we have none. And bylaws and policies, we have none. Old business, 12.1 donation request for the DARE support program. Mr. Patience, I'm sure you're going to have Monique fill us in, so I'm going to give you the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Crane. And yes, I am going to have Miss LeBlanc speak to this if she would.
You're muted, Monique. There you go.
Is that working a little better?
Perfect.
I was wondering if I was experiencing the same problems. So thank you, CEO Patience. This is a follow-up from the presentation made at the Committee of the Whole, February, earlier this month. I believe it was the 8th, at which the DARE delegates had presented the various components of the request. If you recall, at that time, discussion was to recommend to bring it forward to council for an approval. I can go through some of the details, but at this point, it would be that the motion be forwarded for consideration, and that the request for funding in the amount of $2,371 to be drawn from unallocated operational reserves be approved by council. And I offer that up for any questions that you may have.
Okay, Councillor Rabb, go ahead.
I'd be glad to make that motion. That council approve the DARE Works Foothill Society request for the funding in the amount of $2371 to be drawn from unallocated operational reserves.
Okay, thank you. Comments from council? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving down, Federation of Community FCM, Municipalities, Municipal Assets Management Program, approval to apply for grant funding, 12.2. Mr. Patience, I'm assuming I feel a Corinne Middleton coming on here, but I'm going to give the floor to you.
Thanks, Mayor Crane. Yeah, I mean, this is fairly straightforward. We're looking for council support on making application, but since Miss Middleton has joined us, I will maybe have her elaborate a little bit on this.
All right, excellent. Miss Middleton, if you would.
Yeah, through the mayor, thank you, CAO Patience. So this is simply a formality, just to ensure that when we apply for the grant, that we have all of the information in the motion. So when we originally had put this forward, we didn't have the amount specific to what we were going after for the grant. So within the motion is the $50,000. As well, we are responsible for putting in our share, which of course we have already done in the last 2 years. So we had $50,000 that we used from our operating budget in 2020, which we carried some over into 2021. So this is simply a formality. So I'm recommending to council that we pass this motion forward. And then what we will do is we will submit a copy of this motion to our grant advisor in Ottawa, and we will hopefully know very shortly on the $50,000.
Okay. I like that. All right, we have a motion to support the applying for this grant. Councillor Martin gives us that. Excellent. Any comments? I love going for grant money, so I'm never going to hear anything bad out of me when I hear grant money. Like, it's just fingers crossed, let's get her done, right? All right, sounds good. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. All opposed? I think Councillor Gordon's frozen up there. Oh, there you go. You're good. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Moving on, 12.3, letter from Minister of Municipal Affairs. Expressing support for amalgamation. Here's our big one for this evening. I think we've talked about this a couple of times, just a couple of times. So, of course, last week, just to give it some context, last week we had our JFAC meeting on February 9th with Black Diamond. We had a 2-hour session of Q&A where Black Diamond Mayor Brendan Kelly had 30 questions around the application that he wanted clarity on. We answered those questions and we formulated at the end of that meeting a motion for supporting amalgamation. It is here under option 1, and that was agreed to at the joint friendship agreement meeting to be brought to council. So they're debating this exact same motion in front of them in Black Diamond right now, I believe. So with that being said, if someone could give me that motion, we will put some discussion on the floor. Councillor Dixon gives me that. That's option 1. You want to read it out, Councillor Dixon, please?
Yep. I'd like to give the motion that the council.
If I might,
Oh,
just, if I might.
Yep, sure. Yep, sure. Sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
I believe it was suggested as part of the JFAC meeting that a request would be made for a recorded vote on this particular issue.
Yes, indeed it was. So Councillor Gordon gives us the ask for a recorded vote. So that's on record. Councillor Rabb, I'm going to go to Councillor Dixon first, and then we'll come to you. You got to give the motion first.
Want the motion first, okay?
Yep.
So give the motion that the council for the town of Turner Valley agree to support the amalgamation application submitted to the Minister of Municipal Affairs on September 14th, 2021.
All right, thank you. Now we'll go to Councillor Rabb, then Councillor Waring.
Yeah, CAO Patience already covered it. I was going to ask for a recorded vote, but he beat me to it. But that's still important to make sure it comes from council. We want a recorded vote.
All right, perfect.
I've just got a question on the wording. It says in the letter he wants a formal resolution.
Are
Are we voting to send a formal resolution?
Do we should I amend the motion to have the motion say that we're going to?
I've just a query with administration.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
if I might, Mayor Crane,
absolutely.
if I might, the resolution is a formal motion, and should it be passed, we will pass that formal motion along with the resolution number on to the minister.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
No
Councillor
amendments
Rapp.
required?
Did we also not have identical wording for Black Diamond and Turner Valley? So I think
Yep.
it's critical we don't change the wording.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so council, this is your final chance to say your piece on amalgamation. I know we've all said our piece on amalgamation, especially the incumbents year over year. We feel like we've beaten it to death somewhat, but Councillor Dixon and Councillor Martin, if you'd like to add anything, now would be the time to add it.
I am more than prepared to vote. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Martin, would you like to make comment? Curtis, if you could unpause her first, 1 second, Hazel. And unmute when you're ready, Curtis.
All right, go ahead now.
You're good.
Thank you, Curtis. I think for me, when we had received a letter, an email back a couple weeks ago from one of our larger property owners, and the one line in there, it's really made me kind of think about maybe what we've been missing out on. And that is the line that says, let's commit to re-engage once the dust settles on an amalgamated council. So how many other of our larger investors have been looking at Turner Valley and have been kind of shying away or going elsewhere just because, just to put it kind of bluntly, that we need to get our house in order, and by having an amalgamated council, we will have more investors look at Turner Valley in a more favorable manner.
Well put.
I get, that's all I have to say.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Councillor Martin. Anyone else? Deputy Mayor Holiday, go ahead.
You're right. We have absolutely beat this one to death, everybody on council, but I can't miss the opportunity to say, once again, I am very excited about this. I know it's a long-term proposition, but there is going to be a lot of long-term benefits. I think that we have a new opportunity here. We're going to, forge a new identity. It's going to be more cohesive as a community, I think. We can stop all this miscommunication and, politicking, just be working together. There's so many great things that we have similarity-wise, economic development and other long-term strategic planning goals that are totally the same, yet we've always had amalgamation to deal with first. But now once that's over, I'm really excited about the long-term planning that we're going to be able to do to make this new amalgamated community more attractive to developers, as Hazel said, and just more efficiently managed. Yes, there's costs to it, but I think they will pay off easily in the short term just by eliminating some of the duplication. And I think political leadership is really going to be key to get people to understand what we're doing and the work that's going in, and to continue to be excited about it, because this is a really exciting time for us. But it's going to be lots of work moving ahead, and I'm excited to be part of it.
Excellent. Thank you. Councillor Gordon, then Councillor Waring, then Councillor Robb.
Yeah, just as a quick follow-up to Councillor Holiday, I too am excited about this. And one of the main reasons I'm excited about it is our business community, both sides, Black Diamond and Turner Valley, have come out publicly through the IEDC recently and put their full weight of support behind amalgamation. And I got to tell you what, when entrepreneurs identify the value of amalgamation and can see the value of working together in such a manner, I want to get on that bus. So I support amalgamation, and I really appreciate our business leaders making their voices heard, so that we would know for sure that they are supportive of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Councillor Waring.
Well, I have to say it's a 7-year process for me, and I can't say I've enjoyed every minute of it, but it's great that we've come to where we've come, and we all seem to be in line with the positivity for amalgamation, which I have been since that strategic planning back in 2015 when we brought this up and approached Black Diamond. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the poor people who are going to be on the first council, so I can scream abuse at them and send them nasty emails. But yeah, great thing.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Rab, then Councillor Dixon.
Yeah, I'll keep my comments brief. First of all, I'm really excited and enthusiastic about what the future holds. If our council supports it, Black Diamond supports it, we get the minister moving on this, it'll be an exciting time for us all. But I'd like to take an opportunity to thank all the business people, all the residents for all the comments they had. Most positive, unfortunately a few negative, and that's too bad, but I know it's the right thing to do. And I'm so pleased that the residents got behind this. And I also like to give some accolades to former Councillor Wilkie, because he's got a gift with social media to get the message out in such a fine fashion. And we had a chance to look at 100 positive responses prior to this meeting tonight. So thanks to Jamie, thanks to all the residents and the businesses for all their support for amalgamation. I fully support it, and I know full well it's the best for our community.
Thank you, Councillor Rapp. Councillor Dixon.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one that didn't comment. So I'm also excited to get moving forward with this, and I certainly hope that once we move forward with this vote and get it to the minister, that he will move quickly with it, and we can get down to business. We have a lot of work to do in the near future, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So thank you, and thanks to the residents of Turner Valley for their support as well. So,
thank you, Councillor Dixon. And I certainly echo all the comments that you've all made. My brief stint will be this: 40 years of collaboration, 3 separate studies, dozens of different councillors sat at these tables on both sides of the river, no matter what, all working towards a brighter future for everyone in the area, no matter what partnership or collaborative effort they put forward. They created a friendship trail. All these small pegs have got us to the point where we are today. And I really hope to move forward as one region and one community. And it's exciting times. And I really, really am excited to just dive into that work if so elected to do so, and be busy and excited and thriving. Our region needs excellent planning in order to grow, and we are on the map, as it were, with the ring road being completed. We're super attractive to Calgary right now, so it's very important that we have one mind and one solid voice as we move forward together. We're stronger together. So that being said, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried unanimously.
It's a recorded vote, we have to say it.
Sure. Councillor Martin. Curtis, if you could unmute for Councillor Martin. Curtis, you need to unmute your computer now.
Say that again. She wants to know what she's supposed to say.
Oh, just are you in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Dixon, in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're done, Hazel. Yep. Curtis, in favor? No, I'm asking you now, Curtis.
Oh, sorry. Yes, in favor. Sorry.
Councillor Gordon.
I'm in favor.
Councillor Waring.
In favour.
Councillor Rapp,
In favor?
Deputy Mayor Holiday,
In favor.
and I am in favor as well, Mayor Crane. So that is unanimous. And thank you very much for that, Council. I look forward to the future. Let me fire up my computer here again. Okay. Moving on. 13.1 new business, the Q4 financial update staff report unaudited. Mr. Patience.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mayor Crane. This will be quick. And before I get into this, I did enjoy the verbal motions, although I'm not sure it was actually necessary. We would have recorded it as a unanimous vote nonetheless. But it was a lot of fun listening to it anyway. So appreciate all that support. And Ms. Middleton, if you would please lead us through the Q4 financial update.
So through the mayor, and thank you, CAO Patience. So we had a discussion at the Committee of the Whole a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? We went through the financial results, and so we had a very good discussion going through the various line items. I do have some information, as there was a request to that came back on the time that the PM had put into projects, and that turned out to be around $64,000. So that will be subsequently put on the projects. Of that time, $51,000 of that was for Sunset Boulevard. So that was the time allotted as well. The PM does give us a nice breakdown of other things that he's doing throughout the year, and so we're that's very helpful as we do planning into 2022 and 2023. So as you received the financials last week, we had projected a surplus of about 241,000. So what will happen is that 64,000 will be added on to the projected surplus. And then, of course, once the financial results are final, we'll move over the reserve amounts related to the utilities to their specific reserve accounts. So we won't know that. The audit will begin on the 1st of March, and we'll have the statements will come back to Committee of the Whole in early April for review. So I'm going to put the motion forward. If there's any questions based on the results, nothing has changed. I haven't changed them from the last time we discussed them. If there's any further questions, I will take them now. If not, I will pass through the motion to approve them.
All right. Anyone have any comments or questions for Ms. Middleton for the Q4 financial staff report? And seeing none, I will take Waring. Just unmute you.
I'll give you a motion to accept.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no comments, concerns, questions, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. 13.2, thank you, Ms. Middleton.
Thank you.
Corporate support fund request for 2022 Sheep River Health Trust donation sponsorship request. Mr. Patience, over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Crane. I am actually going to turn this right over to Ms. LeBlanc, as she has been anxiously waiting to speak to this particular topic.
All right, Ms. LeBlanc, which one is it?
Thank you very much. This has been an annual request for the past few years, whereby the Sheep River Health Trust, which has a fundraising arm specific to being able to support families and capital projects and various programs and service within the region that serves Turner Valley, Longview, certainly also Dwinton, Okotoks, Millerville, and area. And with that, they are requesting our participation in what's called a Radiothon community builder in the amount $500 for that specific program. There is another request for the Avenue of Trees, which typically Turner Valley over the last few years has not participated in, but certainly has supported in various ways by promoting the event and being able to amplify some of the messaging that the Sheep River Health Trust is doing to promote the program and the fundraising efforts. So with the RFD, I'm requesting and suggesting that an amount of $500 be approved from the 2022 budget, which currently is embedded into the Economic Development Corporate Support Fund, which currently has a balance of $2,000.
Thank you. Just had to get a charger cord just off camera. Thank you for that. Councillor Martin, Councillor Dixon, if you could unmute her. Hold on there, Hazel. Councillor Dixon's going to unmute first.
Go ahead.
Now the floor is yours.
Are we good now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a question for Minette. What sort of events do you support through the Economic Development Corporate Support Fund?
Thank you, Councillor Martin, for the question, and through the chair, Mayor Crane. Typically what would happen is the corporate support fund policy was established to really prioritize the types of events that the town would support, both in attendance, donation, participation. And it was aimed at identifying things such as golf tournaments. You know, when was it appropriate to attend? What sort of donations would be required? What sort of recognition would the town get as well? So the benefit to this is while supporting typically very, very good causes, that also has to have a mutual benefit. And with the mutual benefit, we analyze that and take a look at if there's value around the whole image of the support and what that looks like, where the dollars are eventually going to end up. So that is, in the past, we have provided support for the Lions Club Charity Classic golf tournament. We've also done various things through the Oilfields Curling Club, if it was a sponsorship package that they wanted more help with advertising than just event support. In addition, we've also done, when there was a Sheep River Health Trust golf tournament and others as well. So each one of the requests that may go through council goes through this administrative process so that we can identify all of those items. I hope that clarifies it, but that's really typically what we would look at, except of course, the past 2 years, there have been exceptions as a result of the restrictions. So many of these fundraisers have not gone on as they typically would. And really for the, I would say the intent of the original policy, it had not predicted that some of these things would be held virtually or just a flat out donation. But we do see that interest now in doing these fundraisers is increasing again. It looks like these organizations are getting back to in-person fundraising. So I do expect that there will be more of them throughout the year.
Thank you very much, Minette.
All right, thank you. Let me just bar this up. So do we have a motion on the floor right now, guys? Did I get one from Rab? Just curious, did you make the motion, Rab? Or are you going to make it right now?
I'll make it right now.
Okay.
To support the, I have to find it here quickly. Council approved the Sheep River Trust request for funding $500 in support of the organization's Together Make a Difference Radiothon fundraising initiative.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm just scrolling to it here myself. All right. And thank you for that question, Ms. Martin. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Thank you. Next one up, and I don't think you're going to go too far here, Ms. LeBlanc. Don't you even try and run away. I'll give the floor to Mr. Patience for a millisecond, but this one is the Oilfields Curling Club 2022 Curling Alberta Mixed Championships. Mr. Patience, go.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for that, and I hope I'm not out of order. I've just been notified that Black Council's Diamond has voted in favor of amalgamation on a 4-3 vote.
That is indeed amazing news. I am so excited to hear that. You know, and it's odd because I see that we have Mr. Todd Sharp here on our meeting tonight, and I would definitely take this time to thank Mr. Sharp for the years of work that he put in to get this application through, and all the hard work that his staff did over that time to really get us moving ahead. And without meeting those timelines, we would not be here. And we really pushed him to execute that. So I'm going to give some kudos to Mr. Sharp while I see him here on the screen. And of course, to your staff, Mr. Patience, this is fabulous news to hear that Black Diamond voted this way. I am so excited right now. I can't even tell you. That is fantastic news to hear. So I hope the minister takes this as a clear indication that we are ready to move forward. We're ready to be partners. We're ready to become one, and we're ready to get the work done. And yeah, just fantastic. Just fantastic. That being said, let's go back to 13.3. The Oilfields Curling Rink Alberta Mixed Championships.
Thanks, and I will turn this over to Ms. LeBlanc, and thank you for that movement off of our agenda. I do appreciate it, and I know it was well worth the effort. So, Ms. LeBlanc, if you would.
Thank you, CEO of Patience, and through the mayor. Yes, I was mentioning earlier. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yes, Ms. LeBlanc, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. There seemed to be a hesitation with my audio. Sorry about that. So this is a request for community support funding in the amount of $500 for the 2022 Curling Alberta Mixed Championships. I was just mentioning earlier that some of these events are starting to be hosted again in person, which is great. They've had to suspend this event for the past 2 years. In 2020, Council did approve a fund grant. However, it was basically returned because they were unable to be able to host the event. So this is rekindling some of that. And the support package in terms of recognition and the opportunity to be able to participate as observers and possibly at any events that they would host is certainly open to council.
Councillor Gordon.
Yeah, I'd like to give us that motion that we direct administration to provide the requested funds to support this awesome curling opportunity. And Ms. LeBlanc, I believe we have a young man in Turner Valley who's going to be representing Alberta. Is it correct? Alberta in the curling championships coming up, some juniors. Can you kind of give us some background on that piece as well?
Certainly, I'll just be with you in just one moment. I'm having trouble finding some of the information, but yes, we're really delighted to hear that one of our locals is leading a team in terms of this and will be participating and has the possibility of it's going to nationals and who knows beyond that. And I'm just looking for the young man's name at the moment. It is Michael Keenan, and he is advancing with Team WIP, which is, I expect, the skip. And they're going to be participating in the 2022 Canadian Under-18 Curling Championships. So shout out to him and his team and the best of luck. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just for council's sake as well, one of our local entrepreneurs, local businesses is actually a sponsor for Team Walker in the women's curling here in the Alberta ladies provincial championship team, Laura Walker's team. So I love the fact that we have quite a bit of interest in curling in our local community. And some up and coming bright stars too. So I fully support this motion to provide funding as requested.
Perfect, thank you. Any further comments from council? I know there's a great write-up. Ms. Martin, Mr. Dixon, if you can unpause yourself as well. And yourself.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Thank you. Can you provide a little bit of a background on the community support grant?
The question was.
Apologize, part of that question cut out. Could you repeat it, please, Councillor Martin?
Can you please provide a little bit of background on the community support grant?
Certainly. So it was a policy that I provided to council for consideration probably about 6 years ago. What was happening ahead of that was that any request would go directly to council without any really established budget. There had been a policy as such, but it was really to go to council for review and approval. And the policy, while it is scheduled for revision and update, it does require some tweaking. Nevertheless, serves as a guide so that we can now basically administer these through a process. So there's an application process whereby the applicants are required first to fill out an application form, describe what their intent is, how the monies would be used, provide a budget specific to that event, and then also identify what kind of recognition the town would get if it were to be able to support it. So with that, it funnels it through in really a more methodical way so that council, which I do believe the authority should continue to lie, would be able to review all of the suggestions. And at the moment, it's a rolling intake, so there are no specific dates that or deadlines that the intakes are required. It had been suggested that perhaps there be something like a quarterly or 3 times per year call for applications. But we really find that with most of this, the budget has rarely run out of late. That's not to say that it wouldn't going forward, but typically, even if it's a late year event, it's still able to be supported if there is, if council feels that there's value and benefit. So that's the history of it, but council will over the next few months see a revision to that where it would be tweaked. And of course, with the amalgamation vote, depending on where that ends up in cabinet, then it would be a combined effort so that we're working with our neighbors.
I just have one more question, Dominic. So this comes out of surface rights, is that correct? As opposed to the town budget?
If I may, Councillor, excuse me, Martin, just to clarify, you're talking about service rights royalties that may be paid?
Yes, isn't that what supports the community grant?
We do get one, to my knowledge, from Crescent Point, but no, it's not really from that. This is a typical budget item that's included in the EDC budget under community support funding. Now, I'm sure that that revenue is going in to support the overall budget, but it's not specifically ear tagged for that.
Okay.
That one, I believe, is also less. It's about 4,000 and the total budget on this is 10,000.
Okay.
Which includes the corporate support.
So 4 from the surface right and then the other 6 from budget?
So I don't have the current 2022 numbers. My knowledge of past submissions through the surface rights contributions were 4,000, but that may have changed. I'd have to ask Ms. Middleton to see if there's any updates. However, to my knowledge, it's not specifically ear tagged for this particular portion of the budget. I believe it goes into general revenues, which then would be allocated overall.
Okay, thank you.
And that's head nods out of Miss Middleton, so that makes sense. Ms. Middleton, you want to just firm it up, or you're good?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks. I think Ms. LeBlanc has explained it very well.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Thank you for the follow-up, Councillor Martin. All right, my computer went black on me again. We have a motion on the floor for the curling. We're still on the curling, correct? Yes? All right. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, moving on. 13.4 strategic planning session is up for discussion. So Deputy Mayor Holiday asked for this to come to this particular agenda as we were talking casually about really getting our heads wrapped around what our next year looks like. And we've been waiting on, of course, the amalgamation vote. And that has been put to bed tonight, so that's good. We'll see where the minister comes back with timelines and whatnot, but that still doesn't stop the work and the priorities that the town of Turner Valley has to look into. So obviously we'll look at a smaller time frame, and we'll take amalgamation discussions into context when we get there. What we'd like to do is try and nail down some dates that are going to work for this discussion and really look at what's priorities and what's not. So it's an opportunity for all of council to lay out everything we think that's important for the immediate, the temporary, the long-term, super long-term, and so on. And then we prioritize all that. So I'd like to do this as soon as possible, knowing that we've now got amalgamation vote going forward, and the minister will come back with some recommendations. Would March work? I'm going to ask Mr. Patience to take it from here and give us a little more context if I left anything out. Mr. Patience?
Oh, thanks, Mayor Crane. I think probably what we would want to do, and we do have a bit of a closed session afterwards, and probably appropriate to discuss some of this there. But we can review our calendars after the meeting, or in the next day or two, and see if we can form a date and time that works. And I do think it requires some discussion, especially based on tonight's vote, in terms of how we move forward, and before we go setting a date. So excellent idea. I do think it's definitely required, and I think as of a few minutes ago, we have a number of other issues to discuss that will be relevant as we move forward. So if we can just waylay this discussion slightly, we'll certainly pick it up and move it forward.
All right, sounds good. Council? Good? Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll pick this one up later. And we're going to get a doodle, Sean. We got to get a doodle out ASAP for March for dates.
Yep.
General correspondence. I have the infamous Jamie Wilkie, former councillor, letter of amalgamation support. Thank you, Councillor Wilkie. We have Minister Culture. Let's just take these one by one. So we'll take this one. We'll take a motion to accept for information for Wilkie's letter, please. Deputy Mayor Holiday. She gives us that motion. I'd also just point out in comment another kudos for setting up a website in support of amalgamation. All the hard work that goes into setting up an entire website and daily posting and tweaking and engaging citizens on that behalf. So thank you for that. That being said, any comments around the letter of support? All in favor? Thank you. And that's carried. And thank you, Councillor Gordon. Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. 14.2, Minister of Culture, letter, invitation to host the 2024 Alberta Winter Games. Councillor Dixon.
I'll give a motion to accept that as information.
Thank you. Any comments on that? I know a few years back I tried to get us on board, but never happened. Councillor Waring.
I think in view of today's indications from the vote of the two councils that this is something that should be just discussed at JFAC.
Yes, it would. Now they've got, not to say this one, but is it 2023 is the summer games?
They've got 2023 summer games, but they haven't got the whole games. The whole games is with Okotoks, and they've got one event.
That's right.
So maybe it'll be another case of a joint partnership, maybe with Okotoks again or something. But I think it's a JFAC discussion.
Yep. Excellent. All right. So we've got a motion to accept for information, and then we can always tag in one of our next emails for agenda items that we bring this topic forward, not only for the 2024 Council Waring, but also to address the 2023. All right. Any further comments before I call the question? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. And I have Mr. Brian Suave, President of the National Police Force, Letter Government of Alberta, and that is just another lovely RCMP letter. So can I get a motion to accept that for information, please? Actually, I'll give a motion to accept that one for information. I fully support the RCMP, by the way. Just going to say that. Any comment on that? Seeing none, all in favor, accepting for information. Thank you. We have a resignation letter from Ashley Clipperton from the FCSS board. So we're going to get a motion for that. Deputy Mayor Halday.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I can make a motion to accept her resignation, but can we get a card sent out to thank her for her service as well? Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll put that in a motion. The council accept the resignation of Ashley Clipperton and direct administration to send a thank you card.
Excellent. And Ms. LeBlanc, if you could handle that, because I know you're good like that. Councillor Dixon.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we need to ask for an appointment for a new person, or did we already do that in the FCSS?
That'll automatically start the process, I believe. But Ms. LeBlanc, could you clarify the process when we do get a letter of resignation that is submitted and it's accepted? What is the process that then's followed to fill that position, please?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Dixon, and through Mayor Crane. Typically, there would be a vacancy of a member at large, therefore we would advertise. There's a job description that provides all of the details and the terms of reference for the FCSS committee. In this case, we would likely continue in that process until such time as amalgamation is confirmed, at which time we'll work a little bit more closely with Black Diamond FCSS, talk about essentially merging those boards and working towards that process. I might remind council and those that are new that we've worked with Black Diamond collaboratively on a number of events, programs, and services for a number of years. So this isn't foreign. We've had merger discussions in the past. But at the moment, considering where we're at and until such time as cabinet approves amalgamation, I would suggest that we advertise and go from there. And the term would be limited to December 31st, 2022.
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying that. Any further questions, comments? I would say all in favor. Thank you, and I'd like to just publicly thank Miss Ashley Clipperton for her time and her considerations through the FCSS board. A pleasure having her on board for the time that we did meet. And COVID, of course, made it very difficult to really enjoy that volunteerist spirit, but we really do appreciate your time and your effort. So thank you for that. We have 14.5, Maureen Nelson, email of amalgamation support. Motion to accept that for information. Councillor Gordon, all in favor? Thank you. 14.6, Town of Gibbons, letter to the Minister of Justice, Solicitor General Bill 21, Provincial Administrative Penalties Act. And I get a motion for that one. Councillor Martin, and would you like to comment on that, Councillor Martin?
Sorry, it's a bit of a process. Go ahead.
Thank you, Curtis. Yes, I'll make that motion to accept the letter from Town of Gibbons as for information.
Okay, thank you. Any comments? All in favor? Thank you. Chelsea Hops, letter of support for amalgamation. I'll make that motion, except for information. All in favor? Thank you, Ms. Hops. It's carried. 14.8, Intermunicipal Economic Development Committee, letter of support for amalgamation. Councillor Waring. Gives me that motion, yeah.
I'll give you that motion, yeah. Seems as Jonathan wasn't at that particular meeting.
All right, thank you. And we do appreciate the business community. All in favor of that? Thank you. That's carried. Scrolling here. And moving to 15.1 RCMP letter, policing services for amalgamated municipality action considered. All right, Mr. Patience, did you want to read up this one or shall I?
Would you, Mayor Crane?
I will. So I'm just going to read the letter, unless anybody has any questions. I'm just going to read it. My thanks to you and your council members for meeting with me and my senior leadership team during the Alberta Municipal Balkan Conference. These meetings contribute greatly to ensuring the police service provides for the Alberta Royal Canadian Mounted Police. To you, the citizens, and represent your alignment with the concerns and needs of your community members. During our conversation, you had inquiries specific to your potential amalgamation with Black Diamond to form one municipality. I've confirmed with Public Safety Canada that should your application be successful and you enter into a municipal policing service agreement, MPSA, with a population exceeding 5,000, not yet exceeding 15,000, essentially 14,999, your municipality would qualify for a 70-30 funding structure. Your engagement and the feedback you provided during your meeting was invaluable to our provisions of the policing services that meet the needs of Alberta. Meetings like these, along with the direction interactions with you and detachment leaders, guide us in responding to priorities for citizens, build upon your strong community partnerships, and support us in providing innovative, proactive policing services that evolve with the changing needs of those we are proud to serve. All right. Well, not sure there's really an action considered here in terms of the correspondence. It's more so just good news that we validate that we get extra funding for our police services. So I'll just take a motion to accept for information, please. Councillor Dixon wins that race. Comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Excellent, thank you. And then we have the Marigold System. Freedom to Read Week, February 20th to 26th. Annual event encourages Canadians to think about and reaffirm their commitment to intellectual freedom, which is guaranteed under them and the Charter of Rights. Encourage your council to declare Freedom of Read Week. A proclamation is enclosed. And so I'm going to read a proclamation. And I love these proclamations. Oh my, hold on. How big is this one? Let me just see. I want to make sure I'm reading the right one. Here we go. Okay. Whereas Freedom to Read Week is an initiative to promote literacy, tolerance, knowledge, and the love of reading among all Canadians, and whereas the right to pursue the truth through free inquiry is essential to democratic decision-making, and whereas the freedom to read print on paper or online is the essence of free inquiry, and whereas the freedom to read can never be taken for granted, and whereas the freedom to read is under assault from the left and right of our society. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of Turner Valley endorses the objectives of Freedom to Read Week and recognizes, reaffirms, and defends the rights of the citizens of Turner Valley or Canada individually to decide what they will or will not read, and calls on all residents to actively work to achieve these objectives, and in so doing ensure Turner Valley continues to be a freedom to read zone in which the freedom to read and the right to seek information will not be violated. Now, therefore, I, Barry Crane, do hereby proclaim the week of February 20th to February 26, 2022 as Freedom to Read Week in Turner Valley. There you have it. All right. And I believe that is all. Ladies and gentlemen, is there one more item here? Just at the bottom of my agenda. FCSS minutes?
Correct.
Can I get a motion to accept those for information, please? Councillor Dixon. Thank you. And all in favor? And are we at the bottom? I'm just going to scroll right back up to the top just to make sure.
You are,
And
Mr. Mayor.
we are. That is all.
FCSS minutes.
That was the ones we just adopted. So that is done. And with that, we are going to go into our in-camera session. So we're going to take a 5-minute bio break, ladies and gentlemen. And then we will go into our closed session.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Patience.
you have all been sent a new link for the closed session, so check your email, please.
Yep, see that on the top of my list
Yep.
here. So we'll all come back and then we'll quickly recess out of here and we'll go into there. Councillor Dixon.
Yeah, Hazel, I'm gonna hang up with you and you'll try that new meeting and then we'll go from there.
We can let Monique and Corinne go for the night, yeah?
Right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for all your hard work in the past few years here.
And I'm
Greatly
gonna,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.
You betcha.
Good job, everyone. Good night.
Thank
Right.
you. Thanks, Craig.
Good night.
And thanks, Bridget. Okay, so
So we'll leave in and rejoin.